Hello, I'm going to go over both of the examples on workbook page 265, number 1 and number 2, on how to find the volume of a composite figure. So if you recall, a composite figure is when we take two shapes and we push them together. So you can see in this composite figure, there were two rectangular prisms, almost like two boxes that were combined together, either right here or right here. And when we work with composite figures and trying to find the surface area, the volume, the perimeter of any of the shape, we often have to think of it as two or more separate pieces, and then we often have to try to find missing measurements. So as I'm just looking at this figure right now, I can see that like this side right here, I don't know how long it is because it's not labeled. I know that the total length from here to here is 15, but I don't know what just this little piece is. Same with this little piece right here. I know that the total side is 9, but there's no measurement here that helps me out. As well as this top missing length too. So I might have to do some extra work to find the missing sides before I can calculate the volume. As well, remember that the volume is trying to figure out how many cubes would fit inside this figure. So imagine that a lid lifted up off the top right here, or this lid lifted up off the top right here, and we were going to fill this box with a bunch of little cubes. We're trying to figure out how many little cubes would stack inside this figure. So I'm going to do the example the way that number 1 is set up first, which is showing a division right here, this vertical cut. So I have this separate rectangular prism and this separate rectangular prism. When I look at the bottom rectangular prism, I can see that I don't know this missing length right here because I know the total, but I'm imagining that it got cut right here. So I need to find what that missing length is, but I know this length and I know that the height is 3, so I'm okay there. And then this is the rectangular prism that they want me to start with. They're saying find the blue one first. So this is the one that's colored blue in your workbook. So I'm going to see what I'm missing here. I know this total height is 9. And then if I look at the base over here, I see the width is 3, but what I don't know is this right here. I need to figure out what this width is, which I know that this length is the same as this length, which has to be the same then as this length, which is also the same as this length, which is also the same as this length, which they gave to me. They said it was 5 inches. So since I'm dealing with all rectangles, the opposite side is always the exact same length. So this one's going to be pretty easy to find out. I know it's going to be 5 inches. Before I go through and solve anything, I'm going to go and figure this missing length out because I know I'm going to need it anyways. It's not 15 because this total length is 15. So I'm going to have to use this information to help me out because 3 inches here, this is also 3 inches, which means that this little piece down here is also 3 inches. So if this part is 3, I need to find what is this leftover part, and the total has to be 15. So 15, take away the 3, what's left over is going to be 12. All right, now that I have all of the information that I need, I'm going to set up the problems that they have for me. So I'm finding the length times the width times the height, and then getting a total for one of the rectangular prisms. So I'm starting with the blue one first, the one that they've identified to do first. So I'm going to have the length of the base, which between 5 and 3, 5 is longer, so that's the length, times the width, times the height, which is 9. 5 times 3 times 9. Hey, and if you want to use a calculator for that, go for it. I'm fine with that. We're just really working on finding the missing measurements. We should get 135. All right, that rectangular prism's done. Let's try the second one. So over here, I'm using the base, which is this top part, the one that's touching on the ground here. So I'm going to have 12 is the length because then this is the width, which is 5. Remember that those are the same. So I'm going to have 12 times 5 times the height of 3. 12 times 5 is 60. 60 times 3 is 180. Okay, so the last step, how do I find the total volume? I put them together. So I could just solve this vertically and get an answer right here. In your workbook, I think it has you write it out, 135 plus 180 equals, and find the total. We should get a total of 315, and then my label is going to be cubic inches. Cubic inches. Okay? So that's how we solve problem number 1, by finding this blue rectangular prism first in the book. What I'm going to film next is going to be the second problem, where we're going to cut the rectangular prisms, the composite figure, this way instead.